Hello there. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some more part basics, different more tools and functions that you can use. If you haven't seen my first video, check that out because in that video I have more tools and functions explained so you can learn. So let me just open up part here. In this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the 3D section of part. Last video, I talked more about the sketch part. I explained more of those tools. So we don't have a sketch right now. A new thing that I learned in this version of Inventor 2021, in 2020, last year when I used it, it didn't have this. So if I didn't have a sketch last year and I pressed the extrude, it wouldn't do anything. But this year, if I press it, it'll automatically default to starting a sketch. You can do this with any of these create tools and probably some more along here. And you can choose this. I don't suggest doing this if you're just starting out and learning because it automates the process and automation is good. It speeds up the thing and it can help you be more efficient CADer. But if you do that, then it can possibly lack your fundamentals in knowing when to do a sketch and then choose to extrude because different softwares have different things. So you don't want to try and get into that bad habit. You want to know what actually is happening, and then you can take a shortcut if you want to later on. But I suggest from starting out to do the start sketch and then finish sketch and then extrude and what other things that you're doing in between those. And yeah, it's going to be the same thing. So we'll talk about the revolve function today. Revolve it's kind of like extrude, but it's not going to be extending out. It's going to be revolving around an axis because that's revolving. And you can choose an axis. It'll be any shape in a sketch or another shape around, depending on what's in the part already. And you can choose how many degrees you want it to be, 180 or 57, let's say. And you can choose which direction you want it to be. It doesn't really matter. Or you can also do it to be perfectly symmetrical, so it's even on both sides. And of course, there's also a behavior, as it says here, where you can choose how many degrees you want on each side of it, just like the extrude function has. So yeah. So now let's talk about the sweep function. Sweep function is useful in some scenarios. So a sweep function takes a enclosed area, like the rectangle that we have here, and it sweeps it along a path that is already drawn out in another sketch. And we don't have another path drawn out. And if we press the sweep function, see, Inventor gives us a tip, or mainly a notification, that we only have one visible sketch. And we need to have two to actually do a sweep function. And so yeah, I normally go into origin, and then you see how these are the original planes. So you want to choose one that is perpendicular to this rectangle, and that can be either the YZ plane or the XZ plane, because those both are perpendicular to it, and they'll sweep across. I'll just choose the YZ plane for now. I'll just make this visible. You can right click and then make visible so it's being seen. And then we'll start a sketch on there. And let's just draw out I don't know, an arc, let's just say. Just a random arc so that you can see that this thing will follow the pattern of that. Let's finish sketch. And if you wanted to, if you didn't like how there's just a ugly plane in the middle, I would suggest taking that away after you do the extrusion or whatever rendering you're doing. You can do that before, but I'm going to do it afterward. So I press sweep, and then it automatically chooses the things that are there. There's no other possible things that you could choose. So that's why it's already chosen those. Let me just, there. So yeah, it already chose the main surface that's going to be extruded, the profile, and then the path, which is that curve. There is this taper tool where you can taper how you want it to go, whether it goes inward, 0 will go just straight through, and positive will be, oh, I think it goes up to 5. 4. Yeah, oh, that's interesting. But you'll be able to see that it changes depending on how it was, because you saw the negative, -2, it goes inward. Same thing works for positive, but it's not working here, so that's all right. You can test that out later on. But yeah, you can taper it inward or outward. It's interesting that it's not working now. You can also do a twist. Let me just add a 0 in here, so it gives it twist. You can change how it goes, how many degrees it's being twisted. Let's put 6. It's not going to be that evident because 6 degrees isn't that much, but you can see, here, I'll make it a little bit more aggressive, 60. See, now you can see that twist. It goes 60 degrees that way. So it's changing that you can do that twist, or you can do a different type, where this one is just trying to keep this path parallel, this plane parallel to the line at all times. That's why it curves out here, but on this, it goes all the way around. So it changes depending on that. You can play around with it on your own time. Uh, so now let's talk about the plane. Oh yeah, let me just extrude and I'll take that away. I'll take away this plane. You can just right click and visibility off. Uncheck it. And there. It's a sweep thing. We use this in FRC. I mean, I've used it when creating bumpers. It's a pretty neat tool. Just dragging along a certain path with the given dimensions. It's quite useful. The plane function, let's say we wanted to have a plane that isn't on the surfaces. So not this flat plane or this one right here or even on the side. We want it down the middle because that looks cool. We can do a mid plane. So we can take the two planes and, oh, if it'll let me select, take that plane and that plane. I'm not sure why it's not letting me select it. Let me just, oh, it's lagging a little bit. Oh, it's not, no. Oh, okay. I understand why. Because this plane is slightly curved inward, so it's not completely flat. This is a flat plane, and this is a flat plane. And you'll see that it goes perfectly in the middle of these two planes. It's not parallel to any one of them because they're both in different angles, and that's why. You can also do a plane that is offset from another plane. So if I offset this from this plane, for instance, I can choose how much distance I want it from. I can choose what units I want it from as well. I mentioned in the last video, 2 cm if I want it, like 2 centimeters. It'll obviously default to inches backward. It'll become inches when you, let me show you another tool. It's called the measure tool. If you go into view, or not view, I'm sorry, tools, and press measure, you can measure from anything. So plane to plane, you'll see it's 0.78, and that is 2 centimeters. You can also, if you measure, let me just escape and press measure again. If you choose a plane that is already there, it will give you different types of facts, like the perimeter of this plane or the area that the plane has. It can be useful in some areas, not useful in other areas. It's just there. It's useful if you know when to use it. And there's also other things. Oh, let me show you customization if later on you want to. Uh, like here, application tools. There's many things that you can do in here. Definitely research on Google what you like, uh, but it is kind of self-evident on what you can change. I definitely suggest for those that like um, dark mode on like any devices, software, stuff like that. There is a dark mode on Inventor 2021, and that I was really happy about from the last year. So you can change that, and you can change the background if you don't like that really bright um, background. I like this type of color. And yeah, you can change how you want. You can explore this. There's a lot of stuff that you can do here. And another thing, you can, if you want to try and speed up your CAD, you can also go to the Customize tool, and you can bind keys to certain functions. So let's say you wanted to do a start sketch. You can scroll all the way down to start sketch, and then from there you can bind a key to that. So, oh, no, that's not it. Start sketch. My letters. Yes? No? I seem to be missing it. Why am I missing it? That makes zero sense. Start sketch. It should be right here. I am unaware why it is. But yeah, you can check it out. I'm not sure why it's there. Uh, See, I've already assigned a couple keys on my own, and Inventor assigns some of its own. Like if you press the the M button, your M key, it will automatically default to the measure, unless it's been changed by you or for some reason it isn't measure. I'm sorry, but it should be measure from what I've seen in the default version. I've already combined some keys, so I'm not going to be playing with that too much. So yeah, let's move on to some other tools. So you see how we have a plane that is offset from another face. We can do another cool 3D thing. So there's a tool called Mirror. This is also in the sketch function. I'll show that later. But here it works the same way. You choose the things that you want. So in this case, this 3D function. In the 2D sketch, it'll be different lines, drawings, and whatnot. And then you choose a mirror face. The mirror face in the sketch would be a line that you want it to be reflected over. And this will be the work face. And see, you will see that this is what will be reflected over as, I mean, mirrored over, because that's what mirror is. And there you go, you see. But now, let's say that you delete this work plane. Let's see, let's delete this. It'll also delete the mirror because that mirror tool was bind to the work plane that was already there. Because without the work plane, there is no reflection, and without the reflection, it's gone. I keep on saying reflection, I'm sorry, it's a mirror. Um, it's about the same thing. So yeah, that's that. There's also a circular pattern, which I showed last video too. You can do it as you like. You can do an axis and then just revolve it around that. Let me just show that. So I'll choose this feature and rotation axis. Why not? And it looks interesting. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. But yeah, it's just cool in CAD. I don't think you can really recreate this in real life. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not gonna delve into the actual things of it. But yeah, those are the pattern tools: rectangular pattern, mirror, and circular pattern. This is another pattern. It just chooses which ones you do and how you do it. It replicates things to dots on a plane. Um, you can try that out too. It's pretty self-explanatory just from how it is and just from testing, playing around with it. Um, the next tool that I'll be talking about is going to be the fillet tool. It'll just round out the edges to make it look nice and to keep it safe. Even though this is only CAD, CAD will eventually be translated to the real world. So you want to try and keep machining safe and reasonable because getting the perfect cuts is going to be really hard. So you want to try and smooth it out. So if you press that, you can change the diameter that it's going to be, and then you just select the edges of things. You just select, and you can select those, and it'll change depending on what type of figure is being filleted. You can also do the fillet tool in the sketch portion of Inventor, right here. But I personally do it after I extrude, after I see how I like it. If you do it in the fillet, if you do it in the sketch portion of it, it might mess with things later on because of different things, different variables. It just adds another variable earlier on, so it compounds. Like, yeah. So yeah, you can do that and then apply. You can add more, change the thing, and all that. So yeah, now it's curved all the way through, and you see that there's another one. So you can just keep adding more and more fillets until it looks nice. But see, fillet creates another fillet. That's actually quite interesting. That's a pretty cool thing that I see. Okay, but yeah, there's many scenarios where that doesn't happen, but it's happening. That's pretty cool. Let's just exit out of that, the fillet tool, and now let's move on to text. Let's move on to text. The text portion is gonna be emboss. I'll show the emboss on the Lego piece that we made in the last video. Because uh, so I'll also add fillets because well actually no, I won't add fillets because Lego bricks don't have fillets. They are straight edges and they can be painful sometimes. That's not the point right now. So if we were to emboss, we would have to first start a sketch because that's where it would automatically default us to. So let's start a sketch on here, and we have to create text, Lego. And to create that, we would first do the text thing, and then we can draw a box on here. And now this box will take us to this sort of sketch. So Lego, oh, oh, okay. It appears to be small. Let's just press OK. And oh, okay, it's fine though. So we can still move this around, I believe. Oh, okay, I have to deselect, sorry. And now, this can still be moved around because it's not really anchored down to anywhere. Um, let's just move this to the center-ish. And now, this looks to be a good size, but if you were to edit it again, you could just double-click, left-click, double 2 times, and then just change how big you want it to be. I suggest trying to do it from changing your own numbers. These numbers are relatively small. I'll just change this to 5, why not? 125, and you can change the font. It won't it won't like show it before you choose it like it does in like Word or other softwares that are like Word, Google Docs, that type of stuff. Yeah, it won't show it, so I'll just choose. I said okay, and oh, I forgot. This is just like those softwares. You have to highlight over the text and you have to change whatever setting you want, or else it'll only change it for what comes next. So let me go back to something. Uh, let's go Comic Sans for fun. Oh, it's going pretty slow. Comic Sans. There you go. Good old Comic Sans. Okay, Comic Sans. And let's say we're happy with this. Let's just finish sketch. Um, and if we wanted to do this on all the other 7 of these, we can add I'm sure we could add a rectangular um, uh, pattern to it and do that, or we could do it afterward when it is more efficient after doing the extrusion. So let's press emboss. Let's choose the profile. That's this. That's the thing. And then let's choose the yes, this. Oh, okay. So now it's already on a solid, so we won't need to select solid again. And we can choose either it can go outward or it can indent in. Let's open up what a Lego looks like. Lego brick format 2. And it seems as though it does go outward. If I'm wrong, well, I'm going to make it original. So let's just make it go outward in this time. I'll show it going inward as well later on, but let's press OK. And now you can see that it's going outward. That looks pretty big, so we can just go here, double click like any of the other things, and change the distance that it's going to be extended outward. So yeah, that looks quite a bit better. A great font, but of course, it doesn't fit. The Lego, obviously, it's in cursive. I'm sorry you can't see. Um, this one shows a little better, yeah. Um, shows a little better. So it's in a different type of font, but we'll just make do with this right now. And now let's do the rectangular pattern. So let's select the emboss. Let's choose the direction, this direction, there. Let's do that 4 times. And let's do the second direction. Opposite direction. There you go. And now it's a Lego piece, sort of. It's pretty good though. That's how you do text and putting it in there. It's called emboss. All right, so that was emboss tool. Now I'm going to talk about the types of files that Autodesk can use. So in a part, it can use the standard Autodesk part file. Let's say I was opening something. It can do the standard Autodesk files. like these, IPT, IM. IM is the assembly, DWG is the drawings, and those are other types of Autodesk files. But there's a lot more files that Autodesk can process. Some of those being step files, which is some of the most common files to go cross-platform from SolidWorks, another CAD software. So there's also SolidWorks files, but step files are the most universal that I've seen at least on different websites. And those websites I'll show you now. Uh, so we can design Autodesk files, we can design CAD files on our own, but we can also get CAD files that are made on a industrial level from VexPro and a couple other sites I'll show in a little bit. We could make everything in-house, but you try to keep things at a cheaper cost. And here are something called COT COTS. COTS stands for commercially off the shelves. And these things range from like motors to gears. There's so many things that are so useful. Motors, and they're in. If you select, let's say we go to the Falcon 500, the one of the latest motors that are used right now in FRC, and we wanted to use this in our CAD file, an assembly. Later on, I'll be talking about assemblies, but let's say we wanted to use that. Well, there is a CAD file, and they tend to be step files. So if we press download, you'll see that it's going to download as a step file. You want to download it to somewhere that you can retrieve it again. And you'll see it's a step file. And let me just check out where this was downloaded to. My desktop. Okay. So now let's go back into here and let's open that up. Sorry. Let's open it up. So I won't find that file like this because it's in the IAM and IGB, all the Autodesk parts. So you can press all, or if you know what the file type is, you can just press step, and there you go. So let's open it up and give it a second to render and all. Press OK, and then it will show up as a part now. After it shows up, I definitely suggest making it a Autodesk file because it becomes a real pain to constantly open up a step file when making assemblies, and it can cause some problems in some situations. So try and keep all of them standardized to Autodesk files by resaving this save as a Falcon IAM, which this is an assembly because there's many parts to it. Um, and on that note, I will show you another thing that you can do. This is typically done in assembly, but it's a tool and you can also do this in parts depending on what type of part you're looking at. So let's say you're going into the view and you wanted to see what's on the inside of this uh, motor. You can take away all these, the visibility of all these things, but if you want to see it as a whole, but cut down the middle, let's say, you can choose object visible. No, not that. Tools. No. Seem to be missing it. Yes, it is in view. Yeah, I was right. It is half section. So you can scroll down, select that, and select a plane that you're going to cut through. So let's select that, and then let's go inward. So let's say -2. Oh, it doesn't go that far. So let's negative 2 inches. Oh, that's too far. So let's just do 1 then. So now you can see on the inside. Of course, it's not necessary to see what's on the inside of it, but you can do this thing and see what is on the inside, should you choose. There are other files, or when you're making a robot and you want to see what is in between certain, like a gearbox, for instance. Let me open up a gearbox and show you how compact it is. So here it is, the gearbox. I've opened it. And so, oh, sorry, yeah, there you go. So now let's rotate around and you'll see it's pretty compact. Of course, try and always keep it in visual style of shade with edges so you can see all those edges and it doesn't get confusing. So you can see that there's a lot of stuff in here. So we would likely want to put this in the half section view just so that we can see what is actually going on in the inside. So let's just change this to 4, -4. Too much, so -3. So it's just a trial and error basically. And yeah, sure. And you'll see here, you can see that there is a spacer on the inside of this West Coast bearing block. Of course, we wouldn't have been able to see that from just a normal view, but by opening it up or cutting it in half, cutting it of some sort, you'll see that there is stuff there. So you can measure those and see thickness and all that. So you can get all the information. And to just go back, you can just select that again and escape. Oh, no, never mind. You just have to go to end section view. And there you go. See, you can't see that uh, the spacer there. You can see it from here, yeah, but it's not really evident. You can miss it. And you certainly cannot measure it from this angle. So yeah, that is another tool that is very useful. So I went away from VexPro on accident. Okay, so yeah, you can download step files from VexPro. There's many things that you can download. It's very easy, it's very nice. But this is only one of 3 sites that offer COTS parts. I'll show another one, Andy Mark. Just type into Google. Here it is. And here we can buy many things, electrical bundles. There's so many stuff that you can buy from AndyMark. And let's just say I search up wheels. There it is. So let's say I wanted to find a step file for this. You can go to the bottom and it'll say to see all of our guides. So it's going to show a whole library. But you want to try and figure out what product it is going to be that you're looking at, and then figure out the number. Here, let me just open up a single file. Quick, here it is. So you'll see that it's AM0970. So let's go into the main thing, step files, and just scroll through AM0970, and then you should be able to find it. Let me look. 0970, there it is, the 8-inch pneumatic wheel. This is just a random thing, but this goes for many things. There are some things that aren't on here, but from my experience, most of the things, almost all of them, have been on here. Another website that offers it. Oh yes, and I will remind you, this is step files. Step files is the same way that we download it from here. Another one is McMaster Car. They offer more pneumatic stuff, or the type of like metal stuff. There's many things. After using it a couple times, checking out, seeing what it is there, you'll know where to go, which one of these 3. They all offer different things. Sometimes they overlap, but they tend to offer different things. Here, I normally use pneumatics from this place. Let me just search up pneumatics. There's many things, yeah. So many robotic stuff and other things as well. But yeah, you can use that. I'll have all these in the description, but of course you can always just type them into Google and you'll find them. So now you see where you can get more parts from. But I'm going to show you where you can find ideas, because these are, as I said, commercially off the shelves parts. So if you go on something called GrabCAD, GrabCAD is a place where you can find CAD files and ideas that other people are making in the community. There'll be so many things. People are making different types of things, cool stuff. You can also upload your CAD files to this place. It'll be like the cloud. It's very efficient. It's very useful. I use it quite often. This is a great tool to use because there's many ideas that many people use. You should log in and try and contribute if you want as well. It's your choice. And another place that I definitely suggest checking out, Chief Delphi. Chief Delphi is a forum for FRC and any other FTC, all those things, for robotics mainly, first robotics. and other things as well, Vex, all the whole thing. So you can sign up and all that, and you can look according to what you want. If you're on the business team that's learning CAD or anything, there's so many things that you can learn. Awards, scouting, SolidWorks, there's different things, coding, all these things. There's so much information here. So there's a whole community that enjoys the same things that you do, and you can collaborate to try and find out best ways to do stuff or learn new things. There's a lot of good things that come out of Chief Delphi. I've learned a lot here too, so I definitely suggest checking this out. So that's the thing, guys. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and leave in the comments your thoughts and what you think I should talk about next or later on. Peace.